The truth about being too sensitive. You know exactly what you've been told your whole life. You're too sensitive. Toughen up. Stop taking things so personally. You've probably spent years apologizing for your tears, wondering what's wrong with you. But here's the truth. The diagnosis you've been given is completely wrong. You're not weak, you're not broken, and you're certainly not a mistake. You're what psychologists call a highly sensitive person, but I prefer a different term. You're a supersensor. While others record the world in standard definition, your brain processes in 8K resolution. And today, we're going to explore the neuroscience that proves your sensitivity isn't a defect. It's a high-performance radar system the world desperately needs. Your brain is built differently. This isn't just a personality quirk. It's biology. Research shows that your brain processes information fundamentally different from 80% of the population. Think of the human brain like a camera. Most people's brains record the world in standard definition. 720p, good picture. Efficient, gets the job done without draining the battery. But your brain? Your brain records in 8K resolution. Neuroscience has identified 3 specific upgrades in your neural hardware. Upgrade number 1. Low latent inhibition. Most brains filter out 90% of sensory input to conserve energy. They dismiss background noise as irrelevant. Your brain doesn't have that filter. Everything registers as potentially important. You process the texture of your chair, the hum of the refrigerator, and the subtle mood shift of the person next to you, all simultaneously. This is why you get overwhelmed so easily. But it's also why you notice the beauty, the patterns, and the solutions everyone else walks right past. Upgrade number 2. Hyperactive mirror neurons. These are the neurons responsible for empathy, but for you, they're on overdrive. You don't just understand someone is sad, you physically feel their sadness in your own body. You're not imagining it. Your brain is literally simulating their emotional state. You're an emotional sponge in a world full of spills. Upgrade number 3. Depth of processing. Psychologists call this the pause-to-check strategy. In conversations or decision-making moments, you might feel slower than others. You beat yourself up for hesitating, for overthinking. But here's what's actually happening. You're not slow, you're thorough. While others engage in shallow processing, just reacting to what's directly in front of them, your brain performs deep semantic encoding. You're unconsciously connecting the present moment to past memories, predicting future outcomes, and analyzing the meaning beneath the words. You're not hesitating because you're confused. You're hesitating because your brain is running complex simulations to ensure the best possible outcome. That's not a bug. That's high-level computation. Why evolution kept this trait? If being sensitive was a weakness, natural selection would have eliminated it thousands of years ago, but it didn't. It kept it. Why? Because the tribe needs you. In ancient times, the warriors, the non-sensitive majority, were essential for hunting and fighting. Bold, decisive, risk-taking. But a tribe of only warriors would self-destruct. They'd rush into danger without strategy. The tribe needed the royal advisors. That's you. You were the one who noticed the weather patterns before the storm. You sensed when neighboring tribes were lying during negotiations. You detected threats before they became crises. Your sensitivity isn't weakness. It's a sophisticated early warning system. The orchid versus the dandelion. Society today is loud, fast, and aggressive. It's built for warriors. That's why you feel out of place. But don't mistake being out of place for being without value. Here's the cost of your gift. Because you process everything so deeply, you hit your capacity faster. When you suddenly shut down or need to retreat to a quiet room, that's not you being dramatic. That's your system overheating. Most people are like dandelions, resilient, adaptable, able to thrive anywhere. Crack in the sidewalk or beautiful garden, they're fine. But you're an orchid. In harsh, noisy, or toxic environments, you wither. You struggle more than the dandelions. And for years, you've probably blamed yourself for not being a dandelion. But here's what the research reveals. When an orchid is placed in the right environment, with proper light, soil, and care, it doesn't just survive. It blooms with a complexity and beauty the dandelion can never achieve. You don't need to toughen up to survive the sidewalk. You need to move yourself to the greenhouse. When you curate your life to support your sensitivity, you don't just catch up to others, you surpass them. Your prescription. Stop trying to install a tougher filter. You can't change your biology, and you shouldn't want to. The world has enough numbness. We don't need you thicker skinned. We need you exactly as you are. But you must protect your gift. Build boundaries. Honor your need for silence. Curate your environment intentionally. The next time someone tells you you're too sensitive, take a breath, smile internally, and remember the truth. You don't have a defect. You're just seeing the world in 8K resolution. And in a world that's increasingly disconnected, your ability to feel deeply isn't a burden. It's the very thing that makes you human. Because you possess this high-resolution radar, you might have instinctively built walls around your private life. You might be that person who logs on, watches, but rarely posts. To the outside world, you look like a ghost. But your silence isn't empty. It might be a sign of a completely different kind of strength. If you want to know whether your digital silence signals high confidence or hidden anxiety, click the video in the description. I break down the psychology of the online ghost and why stepping back from the feed might be the healthiest thing a super sensor can do. I'll see you there.